Benjamin, women inside, take one.
The following program contains subject matter and language which some viewers may find objectionable. Parental discretion is advised.
This program is made possible by grants from the Ford Foundation and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Just let your wrist go easy. Just let me turn.
Control, check with booking. Tell them to let me know I'm checking.
I'm Bill Moyers. On any one day in this country, there are about 15,000 women serving time in jail. Many come from broken homes. Most started on crime when they were young. And over half are mothers. Mothers whose children are likely one day to follow them into crime and jail.
We're going to call your husband back again, and for 15
This report is from one jail in Miami. The women here are either awaiting trial, most don't have the money for bail, serving short sentences for victimless crimes, or moving on to prison for serious crimes of violence. This is the newest women's detention center in the country. It is trying to be more than just a jail, but the odds are tough. In this hour, you will meet some of the women inside.
Lift your hands against the wall. Back off here first. Spread your legs apart. Spread apart.
What you trying to do
I have
to
to
me?
pat you down to see you have nothing on you.
I have nothing on me.
Well, I have to shake, okay?
Can I prove my husband? I'm drunk and disorderly.
Okay. I don't know what you would call a crime, you know, but I did shoot a person.
Burglary.
I came to jail for prostitution.
For possession of firearm and they say possession of heroin.
30 years. I got 15 years for violation of probation for strong arm robbery, and I got 15 years for aggravated battery.
I got arrested for shooting the police car. My mistake, but he just happened to come around the corner and he got it.
First-degree murder, armed robbery, kidnapping.
Well, they got me in here for armed robbery that I didn't commit, strong armed robbery that I didn't even commit.
Right along here, we usually hit, you see. So, we wouldn't bring anything back. They're usually searching us for contraband.
For some drugs or what?
Whatever.
Nice.
And then I tell them, this is God, you must like this job.
And we did the same thing.
Well, not the same thing. She gets variety sometimes.
The fuck is from putting back here in the dark screen.
Mrs. Spears, you're needed in social services.
Yellow stain.
How many women come through here in the course of a year?
10,000.
10,000 through here?
Through here. Between 9,000 and 10,000 women are arrested annually in Dade County, Florida.
Is there a typical female offender?
No, there's not a typical female offender. I've done a lot of reading, on the subject and a lot of the studies since the census report in 1970. And one report will say she's white and 22 and no children. Another one will say, no, she's black and 18 and has 3 kids. It's very different. And I think each woman has to be looked at independently, and there is no atypical female offender.
I am branded already. When a robbery in this city is committed, and a white girl was involved, I'm one of the first girls that they come and pick up, always. Always.
They know you?
Well, I'll tell you, I went to jail in 1 year 77 times for loitering and prowling. which was thrown out. They can't arrest you for that. Yeah, they know me.
Oh, boy.
Girl, for going to hole.
You better get it. Get it, Judy. Get it. Before you let it. Get it, Juice. Thank you. We got it.
Got it.
I'm here for conspiracy. Somebody had to tell on me. They would have told I wouldn't be in this son of a gun. But, I'm a good girl too, you know. What did you do? Salt and pepper. Cocaine. They said cocaine. I said nothing.
Me and a co-defendant who they haven't apprehended yet was supposedly have robbed a man for his glasses and his car keys in January, but they never picked me up until March. There was no warrant out. The man just was looking for me and contacted the police when he saw me. And that's what they call a robbery.
That's why you're here?
Yes, one of the reasons. The other one is a federal charge.
Which is?
Forgery, aiding and abetting, conspiracy.
Like I told you, I was extradited from Toronto, and they've got a treaty, the U.S. and Canada, for extradition. And they extradited me to face the trial.
What were your charges?
Importing cocaine into Florida.
Everything that I've done wrong, or they've said I've done wrong, is all drug-orientated. None of my crimes started till I started messing with narcotics, which I never learned about until I came to jail. Well, when I was 14, I had fake ID, and I ran away and came to Miami, and I went to jail, and there was 2 girls in there that had scars all over their arms. And I said, "Doc, why are you sick all the time? Why are those scars on your arm?" They said, "We're going to show you." When they got out, they showed me.
What did they show you?
They showed me heroin, and, you know, nobody forced me into doing it. I indulged my own self after seeing what the feeling was, you know?
I mean, I did it for survival. What I did, I'm rather not say, but I did it for survival. You see, now people that got houses to put up and all of this thing and got something to back them, sign yourself out, it's fine. A chick comes in through customs with her baby, full shoes full of cocaine, because she's married to a cop, she walks out the door. Spare me. You know, that's not what's happening. So they're watching the small ones, the poor ones. You ain't got no money, you're not going nowhere.
Do you think there's many times, unfortunately, I'm a prostitute or have indulged in prostitution? You think there's times that policemen haven't approached me and said, "Judy, if you open up your blouse tonight, you won't have to go to jail. Don't worry about a thing." Think that hasn't happened to me? I haven't had to get in the back of a police car, unfortunately, and ride to a field and stay there with a policeman for a while. There hasn't been a time that I haven't gone to a courtroom and had to go in a back room and do something and got released. Unfortunately, that's the truth. You know, I'm not the only one that could say this. There's others. But who's going to believe me? You know, look at my record.
Control to the third floor. Hey, Harper, 32.
Are we waiting on the elevator? What you think we waiting on?
Of the many crimes that bring women here, the majority involve prostitution or narcotics or both. Once you're hooked on the stuff, you hustle to support your habit. Usually the trip starts early.
When I was younger, I always thought about it, you know, wondered what it was like, you know. And so I just went out and I tried it, and I saw that it was easy money, you know.
How much did you make from it?
A night?
Yeah.
I don't know, it depends on how hard you want to work, you know.
Give me an estimate.
You can make anywhere from 2 to 5, you know. It depends on how hard you want to work.
200 to 500.
Yeah.
Do you think prostitution should be a crime? Why?
Because everybody in this world is doing it. Some doing it legal and some doing it illegal.
You think you got a bum deal?
Yeah.
In what way?
The police, they just too hard on the women out there. Because, I mean, okay, I can understand if, you know, we offer to commit to them, but half the time we don't. They pick us up for nothing. I'm in here, I've been picked up about 23, 24 times, and about half of them ain't even real. It's just because they know what I do.
You just started 6 months ago, and you've already been picked up 22 times?
Just because I was known as a prostitute.
Does any of them have over $25? Over $10?
I bet you that if you was to go to any jail like this one, you would find more prostitutes than you would find anything. I mean, even if they stole something, they are prostitutes too.
Mary, you looking for somebody?
Yeah.
When they called up Whitney finally, he gave me 60 days in jail for prostitution. And I wasn't even doing nothing. The officer solicited me, I didn't solicit him. But it's my word against his. You go to court, you try to talk against the officer, and the judge ain't gonna listen to you. You poor black, misused and mistreated, ain't got nobody behind you. You just part of the system floating. If you got money, you can get out of trouble. If you poor like me and ain't got nothing, you're gonna always be down in the gutter. You're gonna get jammed one way or the other, whether you got money or whether you don't. Poor people catch hell.
Trying to get it.
Trying to get money and surviving, and then when you leave out of here, try to get a decent damn job.
So what's wrong with trying to make a little piece of money to survive, pay my rent, pay my car note? You know? It's my body, you know? I can do with it, you know, as I please. There ain't nothing wrong with it. Just trying to get some money and live, that's all.
Main reason why I be out there, I can't get a job. And it's not because of the education, because I got my education. It's just the race. I don't even want to discuss that, but I would. Okay, you can go to a job and say the boss, he's a white man, okay? He might not want you because of your complexion. It's not, because you can be the brightest person there, and he still won't accept you. Okay, now, I know a lot of people who've been working on one job for 15 to 20 years, my whole lifetime, and haven't had a raise or nothing, but they break their necks every day to get something. So I say like this, I'm gonna do what I got to do to survive, and if it take me to sell my body, I'm gonna do it. If the police like it, if the mayor, the president, or anybody else, I'm gonna live.
It's only normal for a man to date a woman, and you know, if he ain't satisfied at home or something, you know, he sees you on the street. If it's the only way he can get you by paying for it, he gonna do it. Any man, you know, all kinds of men. I've had them from 15 to, you know, 90. You know, there's millions of them.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
As long as somebody ain't getting hurt in the process, getting robbed or killed like a lot of girls.
It is some girls who do that. I know, you know, I'm honest about it.
Men from the second floor going down.
Lunch, ladies.
And in Miami, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 degrees Celsius.
I got something to tell you. You think about turning sideways and don't miss you completely. Good.
Anybody else?
Bernie.
From the fourth floor, 12. Control.
Your last group.
You check this lady out, two-tone color hair and all. Blondie, and that's heart of glass.
Dave Ryder on AM, all music, WQA, Miami.
Well, I was fighting, you know, so wanted me to go ahead and fight. I was going to her, so the police officer tried to break us up, so he got cut. So I'm doing time for that.
What's the worst kind of punishment you can have in here?
Locked up. No, safety cell. They got a safety cell. If you don't have no clothes, no nothing.
A safety cell?
Yeah. Don't take no bath for once a week.
And they put you in there for 2 weeks?
Yeah, after the other girl went to prison, she was still in there.
You've been in here a year?
A year. Going on a year. 13 months now.
How long are you going to be here?
I don't know. I don't have no time yet.
What's the charge? Murder. First degree?
It was, and then it dropped to the second.
How old are you?
21. No. See, I got cuts and scars off of it. I was defending me. I got a scar here.
You were pregnant in jail.
I was pregnant when I was pregnant in jail. That was the second time I had been in jail. See, I had 33 counts of worthless checks because I was a heroin junkie and I supported my second husband's habit also. And I was writing. It started out the checks were covered, but then to a certain point, after that, we didn't have funds in the bank to cover. And since I was an addict, I just wrote checks.
Tell me, what kind of conditions did you live in?
I was just a rotten egg. My parents did everything they could for me. There was a lot of hostility in my family. My mother and father argued quite a bit, more than quite a bit.
How'd you get started?
I think I stole something. Yeah, that's my problem. I can't keep my hands off other people's stuff. I don't know, I seem to feel that if you have money and you get caught stealing, they say that you're a kleptomaniac. If you're poor, you're a thief. I mean, that's how I feel, yeah.
How many children do you have?
8.
8 kids?
Yeah.
Who's taking care of them?
Protective Services has 2 of them, and my oldest son, he takes care of the rest of them.
How old is he?
14.
And the others range down from 14?
Yeah, down from 14.
Is there an adult in the house with them?
No.
They're by themselves?
Well, like I said, my oldest son, he got, I guess by me being in and out of jail most of his early life, he forgot to be a little boy. He just came from infant to, you may as well say, adulthood. I mean, well, I guess with the mother who's been in and out of jail, he had to, And I'm proud of him for that.
What, is it likely that they'll wind up here?
With my 14-year-old, it's hard to say. I don't think he'll ever turn to drugs because he hates the idea that I've been on drugs. He knows what it can do to a family. Like it's turned my whole life upside down. It's taken my family away from me.
Or how do you stop the cycle of crime? How do you stop doing what you're doing?
It depends on how early in a person's life you catch that. A hardcore junkie, like they say I am, I've been on drugs for 15 years. It's hard to stop. It's easy for a person who has never been on drugs to say, hey, that's it, let's stop. But if that person has never went through withdrawals, if that person has never cold turkey, feel that it's a feeling no one can explain. You can read about it, yeah, but reading about it is one thing and experiencing it is another. That's the hard part. You have, my mother, my father, my kids have always, Mama, stop, please stop. Yeah, okay, that's it. I square off. 10 minutes later, I'm somewhere with a spike in my arm, You have to want to stop.
While serving time, trusted inmates are permitted to work on county landscaping. They are paid the minimum wage. For some of them, it is their first real job.
I don't like to take orders, one thing. And whenever someone told me something to do, I did just the opposite. But what I am telling myself is that even though stealing is fast money, the consequences, if I get caught, and eventually you will get caught, is jail. What they're trying to do here is prepare you for work on the outside. And on a legitimate job, the money may be slow, but I got my freedom, and I've learned to value my freedom a hell of a lot.
Out here?
Out here, yeah.
How do you like this kind of work?
It gets me out of the facility, so I like it. I like it gives me a better sense of freedom. The jail gives me a sense of freedom where, you know, there's no bars, you know. Even though you know you're locked up, you can't go out the front door when you're ready. You don't feel so closed in where bars and more, well, unless lenient restrictions, you know. I feel, well, in my particular case, I see girls coming in and out for grand larceny or grand theft, and they're sentenced to 60 days. I got sentenced for petty larceny to a year. At the time, I think the judge felt that he was right. You know, I think he did what he thought he had to do. I had an extensive past, but I don't think you should be sentenced on your past. You know, I did that, I paid for it, that should be it, you know. All of us at one time or another have did things that we don't want to hang on the line and let the neighbors or someone else, you know, see. We don't want to air these things out. Unfortunately, there are some people who think that your past should be strapped on your back and always be a part of you. I don't think that. I don't think so.
Can you go straight?
It's easy to say yeah, but it's hard to do it. I want to go straight. I know I have the ability, the initiative to go straight, but I'm going to try, that's all. I don't like to make promises that I can't keep.
It's going to be a boring weekend, girl.
Yeah. They'll be on all weekend.
I'll be here tomorrow. Y'all should go in there and film Saturday and let them know how to suck up.
I said whenever I come to jail and I know I have to stay, I try to get involved with another woman.
But you, 9 out of 10, you could tell the ones that really want to get involved, because even when they come to jail, it could be their first time. You can tell. No, you know, nobody's crazy. Right. You could tell if they want to be bothered, and then you could tell if you don't. And then a lot of them is very outspoken like we are. They tell you from jump what it is, and they never have been here before. But it's nothing that nobody make you do or nothing like that. You have to, that have to come from you.
And I'm not gonna let the time do me, and I'm gonna do the time. And I'm going to make my environment as pleasant to me as possible, you know, because I got, you know, I only have so much control over what happens to me while I'm in here. So the little things that I can do to satisfy my personal needs, I'm going to do them. I'm not going to force myself on anybody, and I don't want anyone to feel me because I am bisexual, you know. But I enjoy myself as much as possible and whenever possible without being caught. You know, but if I should get caught, I just hope that they don't stop me before I reach my climax. You know,
if two women get caught in the act, what do? The officers here? You go to the safety cell, and then you go to the disciplinary hearing they have downstairs, which is a little kangaroo court, and they determine the time that you stay in the safety cell. And then sometimes, it all depends on who the officer is that catches you. Sometimes she don't even report it, huh?
You damn lie! You talking about what Miss Milton come and told you. And you going for what she told you. You wouldn't even let me come in and hear what was going on.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. I was sitting right there and asked.
You were outside when I called Miss Milton.
I was sitting right there. I said, Miss Christie, can I go in there and hear what they got to say?
No one told me that you wanted
to
go
well, nobody never do nothing when it's us.
That's not the truth, still. We
all even heard me. This lady here heard me when I asked, could I come in there?
No one went in there and told me that you wanted to
I asked Miss Christie right there, didn't I? I said, could I go in and see what they have to say? She said, let me ask Miss Castellan. Well, that's not my fault. I asked.
No, I did not hear her. Miss Milton said that she was standing by the door. You said that she was washing TV.
Did you let her read that?
Yeah.
The statement?
She said that the nurse did curse at her before.
And this is not our first time even getting into it together, me and Miss Pruitt. Why all of a sudden she want to write me up? I'm sick of these people telling them damn lies. I don't have no reason to allow Miss Pruitt and nobody else.
Nurse Pruitt reported to Sergeant Dillett when she went to pod 2A1, inmate Moore asked her for APC medication. When told by Nurse Pruitt that it was not carried on medical cart and gave Moore 2 Tylenol tablets, Moore began using obscene language and grabbed the Tylenol from Nurse Pruitt's hand with such force that Moore broke a fingernail on the nurse's hand.
She's telling a damn lie.
Until a disciplinary hearing can be held, Moore is placed on a complete cell restriction, with the recommendation that she remain on complete cell restriction for a period of 1 week. Okay. Here's a report from the nurse which says the same thing. You want me to read that one?
Well, why she didn't put down what she said to me before I said something to her, and this is not our first time getting into it. Why she just now write it up? And they came back to ask me, was my hand scratched? Miss Milton did. If I was going to do something too, I would have went on and knocked in her mouth.
Okay, well, I have to call some of the witnesses in here first.
It don't make me no difference. Anything I do, I'll admit to it. Yes, I did curse her out, and yes, I did snatch the Tylenol, and she made the remark to me first.
A lot of people would like to put these women out of sight, out of mind.
And you can't because they keep coming back and they keep, you know, putting offenses against you, and you just can't forget them. They're there. You need to deal with them, and you need to open your eyes to it, and we need to start saying, well, what can we do to turn that around, to change that? When you build the facility like this, you take the philosophy of rehabilitation in that you can work with a person that they can change and that they can improve their sense of self-worth. By and large, we find in many of our offenders, the women particularly, have a very low self-concept. You can work on that. You can say, yes, you're a worthwhile person. Yes, you can do something.
This will pacify my need for right now.
You are, whatever involved in crime because of a need that arose? Is that what everybody's saying?
That's where my conflict was, because I couldn't hang out with the intelligent people because half the time I didn't understand their vocabulary, you know. So finally I found the group that would accept me, so I went to them. That's how I got into getting high. And of course, like she said, one thing led to another. Before I knew it, I was out ripping and stealing for everything I could get. In the long run, you lose.
You know, when I was through ripping somebody off that I knew had a lot of money, I felt good about it. I really did. I felt, you know, they got more than they can handle. They're not going to care. You know, they'll write it off as an insurance loss, and what's the big deal? You know, my mother's never forgiven me. She used to collect laces, you know, back in Cuba. Here, it's a hard thing to collect, you know. And I ripped them all off and sold them all to this lady. And that's, you know, to her, that really hurt her. But it just, for some reason, at that point in my life, you know, now I feel really guilty about it, and I, you know, would do anything to get them back. But at that point, it was like, you know, here's a stab in the back for you for the way you've been stabbing me in the back. Whether you meant to or not, you did, and I'm hurt and I'm suffering because of it. So here's one for you.
It was
My thing was selling drugs. Okay, I had to feed me. Okay, my mother took care of my child for me. She always have. But I felt I was grown, right? And I wanted a job on my own. Okay, but I didn't have the, you know, the skills and whatever that they needed. Okay, I could do a job. Okay, but right then the need was, all right, you sign out an application, I'll call you tomorrow. Okay. All right, but then I have to eat then. I'm hungry then. Okay? My thing is, hey, if I take this dope bag and put it in my hand, you know, God, I'm gonna have this money to feed me from now on.
You're on the streets with this knowledge that police know you and they know your past, and they're always gonna assume that you, like Sally said, either got a gun or got some dope. How do you handle that? I mean, what do you do? Are they looking for you? Are they trying to bust you?
Man, you know, they might as well say, hey, I'm sentencing you for life, because it's gonna follow you for that long.
How many times have you been here?
3 times.
When was the first time? How old were you at the first time?
I had just had my baby. I was 18. My mother was the sole provider, and she has 9 girls. You know, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, like little sweat boxes full of people living, trying to work. Everybody staying in about 8 or 9 in one room, each trying to see that the other eat, sleep, and is warm, you know. You know, it's just that environment, and everyone is trying to make it one way or another. Everyone is trying to survive.
The first time you were here for an accessory to robbery, what brought you back the second time?
Heroin.
Were you hooked yourself?
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
How long?
I stayed on drugs for 4 years.
How long has it been since you had
2. And if you add that up, that's 6 years, and Ernie's only 7.
6 years of his life out of 7.
Right.
He's had a mother who's been...
He had a mother he only knew by name.
What chance is there for him?
a very slim chance.
Who do you want to visit? Rena Good. Control? Are they ready for contact visiting?
Let me check.
Go on, turn around, there. Hey, Ernie, give me a kiss.
When they ask you where I'm at, what do you tell them?
Like a jailhouse.
You don't like to hear him say I'm in jail? How it make you feel?
Sad.
Sad? You don't want me to be in jail? I'm not gonna be in jail for long. I'm not gonna come back for a long time, okay? I want you to stop looking at me as your sister and look at me as your mommy. I am your mommy, you know. Ernest, you do know that, don't you? You look just like me. I want you to be with me, Ernie. I love you. I just pray that I can some way relate to him and let him know, you know, why I did some of the things that I did, and why he was always pushed off on my mom to take care of him, and why I was always locked up.
When you got pregnant with Ernie, did you want to?
When I got pregnant with Ernie? No. It just happened. And it was nothing I could do. It happened, and I tried to evade the issue for a long time that I was pregnant and, you know, hid it from my mom. It's like you don't think that far ahead. You know, you for that moment, it's for that moment. You know, you live for that moment, and then all of a sudden, here's a child, and you don't know what to do. I was in a dream where I was going to buy me a business, and then I was just going to stop living in the streets, and that was going to be it. I was going to live happily ever after.
What happened?
My balloon popped. That's what happened. It's just that in order to make that easy money, you put yourself in a lot of danger. You end up coming to jail. You end up getting tagged for life.